All right. Happy Sunday. Let me get this volume going a little bit. Thanks so much for joining for Pop-Up Pilates. If you're joining on Sunday or whenever else you're joining, this is special edition, January 2021. So no props needed. I will say if you happen to have like one of those stretchy loops or stretchy bands, that might be something fun to use for some of the hip work. But not necessary. I didn't grab mine. I'm not going to use mine today. But I will walk you through what it would look like in case you do have one and you want to use it. But let's start standing. We'll start with a couple roll downs. Cool. So find your way to the base of your mat. Feet are hip width distance, right? So that's about a fist distance apart. So it's not actually the width of your hips, but it's the width of your sitting bones, right? So usually it's kind of somewhere in between. Cool. See if your feet are parallel. And then see if you can stand tall. Your arms are alongside your body. Your palms face inwards towards your thighs. Stand tall in your spine, right? Feel this kind of center of gravity through the center of your feet. And how there's, this energetic force, this muscular force that allows you to sit tall on your spine, right? Allows your hips to be under your heart to be under your skull. Take an inhale, breath. Exhale, nod your chin in towards your chest. And slowly start to curl and round forward. And then as your hands pass your knees, start to soften your knees and glide down. Feel your low back and your pelvis release. Take an inhale, breath. And then exhale, slowly start to curl yourself on up, knees straighten as your hands pass them. Let's do a few more of these. Inhale, breath. Exhale, wind on down. So as the chin nods towards the chest, you're feeling the shoulder blades peel away from the wall. And the mid back and the low back, and then the pelvis just kind of naturally shifts and comes along for the ride. Take an inhale, breath. Exhale, wind yourself on up. And you might start to see if you can bring your center of gravity back to the center of your feet, maybe even a little more towards your toes. Right? We often like to shift our weight back in this, and that's normal. But we use these roll downs as a check-in and also just kind of as a warm-up, quite as a release for our spine. Last one, inhale, stand tall. Exhale, nod your chin in towards your chest. Slowly wind on down. Take a pause and dangle here. Shake your head out from side to side. Maybe bend one knee or bend the other. Just taking a moment to see what this inversion feels like in your body. Maybe the release of tension or the exchange of blood to your head. And then slowly start to wind yourself all the way on up. All right, find your way towards the middle of your mat. Your feet are going to stay hip distance apart, so we'll move into a little squat series. So if you do have a little stretchy band, it might be kind of fun to take it to your upper thighs, right up, or your lower thighs right above your knees. But again, never necessary. If you caught me on Thursday, I accidentally grabbed my heaviest band, and I'm still feeling it a little bit. So we're going to do no band today. Okay, arms reach forward so they're alongside your ears. You're rooting into your feet. Yeah, and then feel the big toe mound to the pinky toe mound get heavy. And then the heels also get heavy. So you've got 3 points of contact. Now feel your abdominals wrap around your rib cage. Take an inhale, breath. Hold on to all that connection. Exhale, sink into your hips. Let your knees follow. Come into a squat. And then drive weight through your feet as you inhale to come up to standing. Yeah. Exhale, sink into your squat. And rather than thinking of this being because your knees bend, really feel that abdominal connection so your hips sink back and your knees follow. And then there's this drive as you press through the ground to lift yourself on up. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, lengthen. Yeah. Now exhale, hinge. Stay there, arms sweep back behind you. As your arms sweep back up, come to rising. Yeah, Bend into your squat first, then the arms reach back, feel your abdominals wrapping around your spine, and then the arms reach forward. Try not to lose your spine, right? The arms aren't reaching forward to thrust our backs, but rather just to move themselves, and then lift yourself on up. Exhale, hinge. Arms sweep back, belly doesn't change. Arms reach up, belly doesn't change. Lift yourself on up. Yeah, a couple of these. At any point, if you want to ditch the arm part of it, feel free to. Think of your outer thighs pressing outbound without actually changing, right? So that the outer knife edge of your feet is equally as heavy as the inner knife edge of your feet. And maybe that saran wrap business that we always talk about has to fire up here, right? That you've got saran wrap wrapping around your rib cage, wrapping around your abdominals, not only from the front, but also from the back and from the sides. And maybe that helps to keep your spine in that nice long diagonal line. All right, we're gonna hold it down in about 3. Right? Are you shifting more weight into your toes versus your heels? Can you find even distribution? Last one. Sink into it. Stay there, arms reach back only. Feel your rib cage wrap around your heart. Arms reach up only. Inhale to reach them up. Exhale to sweep them back. Now I really want you to bring attention to the middle, right? To the middle of your body. So again, the arm movement isn't because we lose our spines, right? It's not a sweep. It's active. My arms are moving in my shoulder socket as everything else works quite intensely to stay stable. Yeah? Feel your spine lengthen and maybe the tailbone even slightly tucks under slightly, if that helps you not arch it, right? If that helps you not have an arched back. But we're thinking neutral pelvis if it's within your range today. Yeah? Your knees are just past your ankles, but you can definitely still see your toes. 4. Yeah? 3. Last 2. Arms reach back, arms reach up, come to standing. Arms stay where they are, sink back into your squat. Right heel lifts up a little bit. Exhale, lower it down. Left heel lifts up a little bit. Lower it on down. Right, it's small. If you can see me, it barely looks like I'm moving. I want you to imagine that, right, if someone is in your house right now watching you work out, it doesn't look like you're moving, right? That's how minimal this movement is. Your hips aren't changing, your knees are barely changing. It's just this little lift of your heel. Just enough for a piece of paper to glide under it. Yeah. Bring the attention back to the inner line of your thighs. Let your pelvic floor be engaged by your adductor muscles. Feel that belly continue to wrap around your spine. Right, ditch the arms if you want to ditch the arms. This is 4. For 3. For 2. Last one, just lift your right heel. Lower your hips down an inch and up an inch. Down and up. 5. For 4, I don't know, but sometimes shaka time just helps. 3. Last 2. Last one, sink down low, switch legs. Couple inches up and down. Your arms feel like they're gonna fall off your body. Feel free to ditch the shape, but maybe see if you can maintain it with your rib cage wrapping around your spine. 4, 3, 2, 1. Both heels lift if it's available to you. Sink a little deeper. Arms reach back. Arms reach forward. Last 5. For 4. Right? Can you feel that deep abdominal connection helping you not fall? 3. For 2. Last one, come all the way on up. Arms reach alongside your body. Shake it out for a sec. Oh, I was cold. I no longer am. Fantastic. Let's find our way down onto our mats. Take a sip of water if you'd like. We'll come to lying on our backs. If you happen to have a stretchy band that you're using, it can stay just above your knees. It can stay in the same place it was, but again, not necessary. Lie on your back. I'll meet you there. Okay. So from here, just for a brief moment before we move on, take your hands to your pubic bone, right? You're gonna make this diamond shape so that your thumbs are touching and your index fingers are touching. And the index fingers are gonna lay right on top of your pubic bone. And the thumbs are gonna lay pretty darn close to your belly button. Yeah? And then I want you to just notice for a moment if your index fingers are higher than your thumbs, or if your thumbs are higher than your index fingers. And see if you can kind of wiggle your pelvis around so that they are at the same level. Yeah, and notice what happens there. So for me, my low back lifts a teeny tiny bit. The base of my sacrum, the bottom of my sacrum curls down a little bit. That's what my neutral feels like in my body. Right? And now let's kind of see what the difference is. So if you were to overarch your back, right, like you had, like you're rainbowing it, like you had a ball under it, your thumbs are now higher than your index fingers, right? We'll call that your anterior tilt, or your like dog wagging a tail, like happy dog. And then the opposite would be to press your low back into the ground so your tailbone starts to curl under you a little bit, and your thumbs are now lower than your index finger. This is your posterior tilt, or your dog that got into the trash and has its tail between its legs. And then just move through a couple more of these. So these are our pelvic tilts, right? So it's a little massage for your low spine, and also a way for our abdominals to activate and your brain to learn the difference, right? To learn how to disassociate moving your pelvis in each direction. Okay. And then come back to neutral, right? So now your thumbs and your index fingers are at the same height, and maybe it feels a little more normal, or it still feels weird, but at least you have a little more awareness to what the neutral feels like, and see if you can hold the neutral. Take your hands to the base of your skull. Let them actually heavily interlace and your head be heavy in your hands. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, peel up your head and your chest. Take a pause. Take an inhale, see if you can increase by 1%. And then exhale, slowly lower down. We're gonna do 5, and then we're gonna start to add some leg stuff. Inhale, breath. Exhale, the chest and the head peel up. Your low back is trying to stay neutral, but it might press into the ground a little bit. Exhale, lower on down. But you're gonna see to the best of your ability today if you can keep that pelvis in neutral. Right? So you're not overarching so that it curls up and under you. You're just trying to keep it stable, which for me and my body is really hard to do. And lower down. Inhale, breath. Exhale, chest and head lift up. Inhale, pause. Exhale, lift on up. Or lower on down, rather. Inhale, breath. Exhale, lift up, stay there. Bring your legs to tabletop. And you're gonna glue the feet together so you're in this diamond shape. So your knees are as wide as your shoulders and your feet are together. So if you're familiar with Pilates on the reformer, this kind of looks like your frog, right? And if you've got a band, your band is still around your thighs. You're just opening to the width where that band stretches a little bit. You're in your chest lift. Cool? And then from here, lower your head and your chest. Inhale, breath. Exhale, lift up your head and chest. Take a pause. Let your legs tip down 1 inch. Lift your legs back to tabletop. Exhale, lower down your head. Yes, we've layered on a little bit. Exhale, lift up your head and your chest. Pause. Inhale, lower your legs. Lift them back on up. Exhale, lower your head down. Let's do 5. Inhale, breath. Exhale, head and your chest lift up. Inhale, legs lower 1 inch. And they lift. Exhale, lower on down. How is your pelvis? Can it remain neutral? Can you really bring some more attention to your low back, right? So this isn't a big move. This is just a move from your hip flexors, right? Which we've learned are a deep abdominal muscle, right? Your psoas. So it's small and it's controlled. This is the last one. Lift, stay lifted. Legs lower down 1 inch. Lift them up and then legs only, right? They lower down 1 inch. Exhale, bring them back on up. Inhale down. Exhale, lift them up. Feel free to lower your chest if this feels aggressive or if this is hard to control. 6. 5. Our feet come down. We do one more chest lifty thing and then we move on in 3. For 2. Last one, slowly lower your head and your chest, lower your feet. Take your hands away from the crown of your head. Let them come alongside your body. Take an inhale breath, right? Reset your pelvis if you lost it. And then let your arms reach up and overhead. So they're just floating up towards the sky. You haven't lost your shoulders plug back down into the ground. Exhale, peel up your head and your chest. Stay lifted. Take your hands to the right side of your thigh. Inhale, breath. Exhale, reach through center. Take your hands towards the left. Exhale, breath. Inhale, lift through center. Exhale, over to one side. My hands are together like I was diving into a pool. Through center. Over to the other side. Through center. Right? Can you just move your rib cage from side to side without your hips tipping? Right? So can I learn to disassociate? Can I move my rib cage without my hips? Your feet are stable. Your inner and outer thighs are engaged. Pelvis. Oh, maybe it's still trying to be neutral. That's a hard one here, though. Okay, come to the right, stay there. You're still diving through your fingertips. Just from the right, reach up an inch and down an inch. Up and down. Press heavy through the opposite hip. For 4, for 3, for 2. Last one, stay lifted. Rainbow your arms over to the other side. I think that was 8 total. I don't know, I can't count. 5, hips are heavy. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay lifted, come to center. Take your hands to the base of your skull. Lift your heart 1 inch higher. Slowly lower yourself all the way on down. We did it. Come to lying on your right side. If you've got that band, it can stay exactly where it's at. Right at your upper knees. And then we're gonna move into a little clam series today. So for your setup, your knees are bent, your feet, your hips, and the back of your head are all in the same long line to start, right? So that if you were leaning up against a wall, all of these touch points would graze the wall. Cool. Now this is option 1 to stay nice and low and really supported through the sideline of your body. Now, if you'd like to challenge your stability today, you might lift up onto your forearm. Either or are available. I've been kind of playing with this variation as a challenge for my shoulder muscles. So I encourage you to choose the one that feels best in your body, right? You're lifting up out of your bottom waistline. Cool. Now think of your top leg just like a lever, and your top leg as one unit is just going to lift up and lower down, right? It lifts and it lowers. You're still trying to lift up out of your bottom waistline. Remember that saran wrap that we talk about sometimes? That saran wrap really has to be engaged so that you don't dump into your shoulder or dump into your bottom waistline, right? Saran wrap is involved in a 3-dimensional way. Your leg lifts up as one unit, like a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. Lift and lower. And then maybe your front rib cage ever so slightly sinks back towards your sacrum so that you create an inside out connection. Yeah, you're gonna start to layer on. Cool. The next time that the legs come together, they stay there. Your feet stay glued together. You open to a clam. You close your legs and then you lift that lever and then clam. So it's like dog peeing on a fire hydrant. Inhale, breath. Exhale, clam. Dog peeing on a fire hydrant. Exhale, clam. Yeah. And then as you breathe through this, really feel your lats and your serratus engage, right? So those bottom rib cage muscles, right? The ones that we use when we do things like pulling and lifting, the ones that if we're in an exercise class help to support us to do things like planks, right? Okay, 2. And then we layer. If you still got that band, you are a trooper. Stay in your clam. Open, close. Inhale, open, exhale, close. You're on the pinnacle of your greater trochanter. You're trying really hard not to open so aggressively that you roll back, right? It's subtle. You're trying to see if you can keep your head in the same line as your body. That's always so hard for me. 3. Clam stays open in 2. Clam stays open. Leg goes long, leg bends. Leg goes long, leg bends. So you're trying to keep the same angle of your hip as you bend and extend your knee. Right? Foot taps the other foot. Foot releases. 6. For 5. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Right? 4. How is the rest of the connection to your body helping to support you when you fatigue? Right? How do you stay lifted? 3. For 2. Last one, leg goes long, circles. You just got 5 of them in each direction. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch directions. 5, 4, 3. Lift up out of your bottom shoulder. 3, 2, 1. Come on to your belly. Ooh. Okay. We're going to come onto your forearms so that your hands are interlaced. Your elbows are under your shoulders. Then right off the bat, you're lifting up out of your bottom rib cage. You're feeling your abdominals once again wrap around your spine, as opposed to your chest resting on the ground, right? So your body's probably going to be touching the ground. That doesn't matter. But feel the sensation of lift, right? Of centering and saran wrapping towards the base of your spine. Yeah, cool. And then you're going to see if you can start to float one leg up off the ground and then lower it on down. And then lift the other leg up off the ground and lower it on down. Right? So the whole thigh lifts and lowers while your abdominals are engaged. Cool. Now, if you're like me and you have a hard floor and your mat is not that thick, you might give yourself an extra fold, which is what I'm going to do because that feels very uncomfortable. So you might do the same thing here if you'd like. Yeah, but everything else is the same. Lift. Oh, so much better. And lower. Right? And then maybe your sacrum, right, that base of your spine starts to lengthen down towards your feet. Yeah, we're going to start to layer this into a single leg kick, which we've been working on for these last few weeks. Okay, the next time that the right leg floats up, keep it there. Float the left leg up with, so they're both just hovering up off the ground. And then you're going to start to kick the right leg towards your butt. Inhale, and then switch, exhale. Inhale, one leg, exhale, switch. And then when you feel like you've got the rhythm down, you're going to add a little pull, like a little double kick. So one leg goes inhale, inhale. Other leg goes exhale, exhale. In, X, X. Both of your thighs are trying to stay hovering up off the ground. Rib cage is knitting around your heart. Abdominals are saran wrapping, right? They're trying not to rest on the ground, but rather they're touching the ground. It's giving them feedback. Crown of the head is long, right? So there's a heck of a lot going on so that you don't relax in this pose, but rather you use it as a way to strengthen your back muscles and lengthen your hip extensors, right? Those are our hip creases, the ones that get really cranky and tight if we sit a lot. Let's go for 5. For 4. For 3, can you float your thighs up 1% up off the ground? Last 2. Last one, slowly lower on down to your forehead. Give yourself a moment. Maybe windshield wipe your legs from side to side. Okay, if you folded your mat over and you'd like the traction, feel free to take it back nice and long. And then I'll meet you on your hands and your knees. Right, root into your palms, feel them broaden. Your spine is long. Your knees are under your hips and your feet are back so you can be able to see them if you looked at them. And then just drop into what we'll call like a cow pose in yoga so that your belly drops and your tailbone rises. And your chest rises, inhale, breath. And then round your spine into your cat pose. Exhale, breath, and let it be really slow as you move through a few of these before we layer on a plank, right? It's slow. It's this undulation of your spine. Maybe you feel the sensation of traction on the parts of your body that are touching the ground, right? Your wrists try to drag back towards your knees.
your knees try to drag forward towards your wrists, just as a concept. That doesn't make sense, don't worry about it. Okay, come back to neutral. Plant into your hands, tuck your toes under you. Notice that the shape is not going to change just yet. Feel your inner thighs talk to each other, right? As if they had like a Pilates ball in between them or like a yoga block. And use your abdominals to lift your knees 1 inch up off the ground. And then exhale, lower down really lightly so that, right, your spine is neutral. You've got that fierce engagement that we talked about in your standing, right, in your squat, so that your spine is neutral, but your belly muscles still work to support you here. They lift and they lower, right? And it's a soft lower. It's like there's a plane of glass under you that you don't want to break. Armpit muscles still lengthen down towards the waistline. Crown of the head is long. We're going to do 3 and hold it for 2. Last one, hold it, reach your left leg long. Reach your right leg long, come into a plank, stay there. Let the crown of your head get long, send space between your shoulder blades. Feel your heels lengthen back towards the back of your mat. You have 1 more breath. And then listen to this, exhale, pike your hips up and back. With the count of 4, walk your hands back towards your feet. So it's 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften your knees, really actively come into that roll up, roll all the way on up. Take an inhale breath when you get there. Exhale, nod your chin in towards your chest, slowly lower on down. This is your Pilates push-up. We just got 3. Count of 4, walk your hands back to a plank for 3, 2, 1. Take a pause, bend your elbows wide for a bicep push-up. Inhale, lift yourself on up. Exhale, shift yourself on back. Right, and now that you have the rhythm, as your hands walk back towards your feet, think of your hips staying really, really stable. And then softly wind yourself all the way on up. Inhale, breath when you get there. Exhale, nod your chin in towards your chest, wind down. 4 counts, quiet hips. 4, 3, 2, 1. You have 2 push-ups now. Exhale, bend, and extend. Exhale, bend, and extend, hip shift back. 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly wind yourself on up. Inhale, breath, stand tall. Exhale, breath, nod your chin in toward your chest, wind down. 4 counts. 4, 3, 2, 1. 3 push-ups. Exhale. Inhale, straighten. Exhale. Inhale, straighten. Last one. Exhale, hold it halfway. Send a little more breath to the space in between your shoulder blades. Feel your shoulders plug down towards your waistband. You're out of this in 3, I promise. And 2. Last one, come onto your knees. Shift into a rest pose for a moment. Stretch your arms long. Feel your shoulders plug back into their sockets as you do so. And I'll meet you lying on your left side now. Yeah? And I suppose I should say, we should have still had that band on. I forget when I don't have it on. But ditch it if you want to, or keep it. To make both cheeks even. When I was a kid, I used to do those Mari Windsor Pilates DVDs. And that was like the one thing that always like made me laugh. She would always say, gotta make both cheeks even. And I always remember it. Okay, you're lined up against a wall, crown of the head, tailbone, feet. And then you might choose to stay in the sideline position. If you like challenging your stability, then you might come into this forearm, right? Either or. If it needs to be different on one side, let it be different on one side in terms of stability, right? If we're doing stuff that's toning, you kind of want to relatively consider making it even. But in terms of stability, work your transverse abdominis. Doesn't necessarily work better on one side versus the other, right? It's working to center you. Cool, that's my spiel. Okay, lift up out of your bottom waistline, lift up out of your shoulder, and then we just start with that dog peeing on a fire hydrant, right? Top shoulder plugs down and away from your ear just to release tension in your upper traps. And I did something last week, who knows what, and I don't know if you guys have ever felt this, but literally like your neck was like burning. Like I just had so much tension in my shoulders and my neck. And I was doing like all the rolling stuff in my upper shoulders and trying to figure out what to do on, stretching my neck. And I honestly just ended up like lying on the floor with some balls under my neck and not even doing any of the shoulder stuff. And I fell asleep. But when I woke up, it was gone. So I think that's to say sometimes it doesn't need to be hard. You have tension stuff to release. I think for me, it was just that I needed to rest, right? I think I was going too hard. Okay, let's layer on. Legs come together, open to your clam, close your clam, fire hydrant. Yeah, what did we say for breath last time? I think we said inhale to lift, exhale to fire hydrant. Inhale, inhale, fire hydrant, exhale, clam. Apologies, fire hydrant, and then clam. Right, you're balancing on the pinnacle of your greater trochanter, right? That's that side bone that you see on a skeleton, right? It's rounded, you're trying not to rock forward or back. At any point, if this forearm business is no longer your thing, rest on your arm. Yeah, let's do 3, and then we'll switch into just clams. For 2, just clamps, right? You're just lifting to the degree where your top hip doesn't roll back, right? So it's not a big move depending on the anatomy of your body. How is your front rib cage doing? Has it thrusted forward? Yeah. Right, so that we're still asking for that nice long spine. Cool, do 3. Second side is always gnarlier. For 2, keep your clam, extend, bend, extend, bend, right? So you keep the same angle, your leg bends and straightens. 6, we end with those circles. 4, 3, where is your head, where is your gaze? Last 2, last one, leg goes long, 5 circles. 4, 3, 2, 1, switch sides. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, come all the way onto your back. Take those windshield wipers if you'd like. I'm just seeing how we're doing in terms of what we have in store. Oh, fantastic. Cool. Okay, you can finally ditch that band if you still have it. And the trooper you are if you still have it. Okay, your knees are bent. Take your arms alongside your body. Reach one leg long. Take the other long with it. See if your hips can remain in that nice neutral position. You might even take your hands to your pelvis to reconnect to it for a moment. Arms reach up and overhead. Feel your shoulders plug back into their sockets. Feel your abdominals engaged so your rib cage hasn't thrusted in an effort to reach your arms up and overhead, right? Just like we did in our squat. Inhale, arms reach forward, peel up your head and your chest. Exhale as if you were arcing over a beach ball. Can you curl up, round up your shoulders, come in alignment with your hips. You stay rounded, take an inhale breath. Exhale, feel your tailbone curl under you, feel your low back press heavy, and your mid back, your shoulders, and the back of your skull, your arms reach up and overhead. We're gonna do 5 total, so 4 more today. So inhale, head and chest lift up a little bit. Exhale as you furl up more. If this feels impossible, you can use your arms to help you climb up, right? That's always available. Take an inhale breath when you get to the top. Notice that you haven't lost your head in your arms, right? Your head is still lifted up out of your arms. Exhale, wind on back. All right, really feel that tailbone tuck under you. Really fight for the low back to find space. Just enough as a pep talk to me as it is to you. Inhale, arms, head, chest. Exhale, wind on up.
Inhale, breath. Exhale, curl on down. Right, think of your low back melting down. Think of your mid back and just pause for a moment in that chest lift, right? Where your shoulders and your chest are peeled up and your head is peeled off. And then lower all the way on down, reach your arms up and overhead. This one, last one is slow. Inhale, breath, arms reach up. Lift up your head and your chest and take a mental note of what that shape feels like, right? Your chest is lifted up, your shoulders and your head are lifted up, that's it. And then exhale, furl up more from there. Feel your abdominals support your spine. Take an inhale breath. And then we're just going back down just to that chest lift position, so not all the way on down. Exhale, low back melts. Mid back melts. Your shoulders stay lifted, your chest stays lifted, your head stays lifted. Take your right leg to tabletop. Bring your left leg to tabletop. Take your hands on top of your knees. We have 6 double leg stretches, yeah? Inhale, legs go long, arms reach up and overhead. Exhale, circle your arms around, come back into that ball. Inhale, go long. Exhale, come back on in. For your last 4, your head can stay up or down. It doesn't need to do one or the other, but choose one. Last 2. Last one, come on and take your hands onto your right knee, reach your left leg long. Find that nice long diagonal line. So if you're looking at your toes from toe to toe, it's a nice long line. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, switch legs. Inhale breath. Exhale, switch legs. Right, your low back might be imprinting into the ground. You're seeing if that pelvis cannot curl up and under you, which might be really hard to feel here. 4, for 3, last 2. Keep moving, take the hands to the base of your skull. Find long, steady lines with your legs. Add a little crisscross. Left shoulder to right knee. Right shoulder to left knee. Inhale, turn in one direction. Exhale, turn in the other direction. Think of flexing your spine over your rotation. 4. There, slow. For 3. For 2. Last one, come back to center. Stay lifted. Both knees are bent. Come all the way on down. Oof. Take your feet down to the ground. Let your arms come alongside your body and let them feel heavy. One leg comes to tabletop, the other leg comes to tabletop. Glue them together. Yeah? And see what that tabletop really feels like and looks like to you. So it's that 90-90. Your knees are over your hips. Your shins are parallel to the ground. Your sacrum, right, that pelvis is neutral. You might also consider that your sacrum being flush to the ground. Cool. Arms are heavy. Take an inhale breath. And then I want you to find a very subtle posterior tilt, right? So now your tailbone gets to curl under you a little bit and try to lift your hips 1% up off the ground and lower them down with control, right? So my hips aren't even peeling up off the ground. I'm just trying to curl them up and under me so it's small. Exhale, peel. Inhale, lift up. So what's not happening is I'm not bouncing my knees towards my chest, right? That's different. I'm just trying to lift as if my knees were trying to lift up towards the sky. 4. For 3. Last 2. Ooh. Last one, slowly lower on down. Lower one leg. Bring the other leg in towards your chest. Let's make that the right knee that comes in towards your chest. Reach the left leg long. Reach that right leg up high towards the sky. Take your hands onto the back of your leg and just point and flex your ankle. And take some circles while you're here, just with your ankle. And then switch directions. Cool. And then let your legs stay flexed and pointed, or flexed and long. And reach your arms out wide. The leg that's on the ground is now your anchor leg. Those toes are pointed. Your floating leg is going to circle down through center 5 times. Inhale, circle down through center. Exhale to circle down through center, right? Can you move your leg bone without moving your pelvis, right? It might mean it's smaller or it's more controlled, or maybe it's bigger than it was last time. Switch directions. Inhale, away from center. Exhale, away from center. Use your other leg to support you and anchor. Last 2. Last one, leg floats high towards the sky. Point your toes. Take your hands onto the back of your leg. See if you can lift up your head and your chest. And then maybe your hands walk towards your calf, like they were cupping it. Yeah, like they're cupping the back of your calf so your fingertips point up towards the sky. And then let your right or your leg that's on the ground lift up so it's just hovering up off the ground. We're gonna scissor our legs. Take an inhale breath, exhale, switch legs. Inhale one leg, exhale, switch the other leg, right? And every time you have a leg lower down towards the ground, let it just barely tap the ground before it lifts back on up. If your legs are kind of bent, no big deal. You have 5. Think of your chest lifting over your neck, exerting this shape. 3, for 2. Last one, take your right leg or left leg high towards the sky, sorry. Slowly lower your head and your chest. Flex and point your ankle. Take some ankle circles. Switch directions. Flex your ankle. The leg that's on the ground, those toes are pointed, your arms come out nice and wide. Inhale, circle that leg down through center. Exhale, do the same thing, right? It's controlled. Can I move my leg bone without my butt or my hips rocking around on the ground? Cool, switch directions. Inhale, circle away from center. Exhale, circle away from center. We're almost here. 3, for 2. Last one. All right, friends, bend that knee, lower it onto the ground. Bend the other knee, bring it with. Scoot yourself down so you're more towards the center of your mat. And I'm going to demonstrate this next thing first because this is something we've been layering on the classes, but it's definitely something that might not be for you today, and that's okay if it's not. So this is called a roll over, or if you go to a yoga class, it, oh my gosh, it might be like a plow pose. But it does involve your feet going over your head. So I'm going to demonstrate it. And then if you feel like it's not for you, no big deal. We're just going to ask for 4 of them. So you might opt out of this. Cool. Your arms come alongside your body, right? I'm just demoing this and then I'll walk you through it. My legs are in tabletop to start. My legs go long to a 45 degree. And then they reach up high towards the sky. And then I like to press into my hands. I find that same curling of my tailbone under me as I reach my legs up and over my head and I lift up my spine. I'm going to stay looking up towards the sky so that I don't alter my neck. I'm going to flex my feet, open my legs. My toes might touch the ground. Maybe they don't. I'm very tight today. That's not going to happen. And then you slowly melt your spine with lots of control down on to the ground. Your legs circle together and come back to that 45 degree. Yeah? Cool. You could also just do those hip lifts if this didn't feel great for you. Hip lifts are an awesome practice. So let's try 3 more together. So inhale, your legs reach high towards the sky. Exhale, use your lower abdominals to peel your pelvis up off the ground and reach your toes up overhead. Flex your feet, open your legs. Maybe your toes tap down towards the ground, maybe not. And then slowly, with a lot of control, feel your heart melt down and your mid back and your low back. And then as your hips rock down, your legs circle together back to that 45 degrees. Inhale, legs reach high. Exhale, exhale, lift them up and over. Inhale, open your legs. They lower, they tap. Exhale, slowly wind all the way on down. Legs circle down to that 45 at the end. Last one. Inhale, high legs. Exhale, reach them up and over. Inhale, open them. Maybe they tap down towards the ground. Exhale, slowly lower, back apart. Mid back, low back, hips, legs circle down and over. They can lower down onto the ground. Nicely done. Okay, you're gonna shimmy yourself so that you come onto your forearms. Your feet are planted on the ground. And then from here, you're gonna walk yourself onto your hands. Yeah? I just give myself back a little bit for this last piece of it. Your fingertips can face forward. If your shoulders are tight, you might also opt for your hands to face outbound. So either or is available for you, but they either face forward or out. I'm lifting up out of my chest. My feet are planted on the ground. This is like a reverse tabletop. Inhale, breath. Exhale, lift your hips on up. Yeah, your shoulders are in line with your wrists. Your hips are trying to be as high as your knees. Take an inhale, breath. And then this is a hip hinge. Exhales, your hips tap the ground, and then they just lift back on it. Yeah, we have 4. And then I'm going to ask you to hold it. And those of you that want to come into the full expression can. You don't have to. Last 2. Chest lifts up and proud. Last one, stay lifted. Now, if you want, you might take one leg long. You might take the other leg long. Whatever version you're in, last piece of this, one leg is going to lift and lower 5 times, whether your knees are bent or straight. For 4, root into your arms, lift up out of your chest. Last 2. Last one, switch legs, right? Feel your tailbone lengthen down towards your feet, just like in your regular plank. 3. For 2. Last one, the legs come down, slowly lower your hips. Cross your feet under you, take your hands forward, come into your last plank of the day, and you're done. Root into your palms. All right, feel your upper arm bones engage more. Feel the crown of your head get long, and because you are strong, shall you try that leg pull again? Left leg lifts up off the ground 5 times. It lifts, it lowers with control. For 4, your hips don't change. 3, 2, last one, switch legs. 5, 4, abdominals are hammocking up towards the sky. 3, for 2, last one, both legs are long, push out of your hands, lift up out of the space between your shoulder blades. Slowly lift your hips up and back. Dangle for a moment in this downward facing dog. Bend one leg, then the other. Slowly start to walk your hands towards your feet. Yeah, dangle in that forward bend when you get there. Shake your head out from side to side. Slowly wind yourself all the way on up. Arms reach up and overhead when you get there. Take a big inhale breath. Exhale, release it out. That is all we got, my friends. Hope you're feeling nice and warm after that. Maybe sweaty and a little shaky. I know I am. As always, I would love to hear how you liked it. Let me know what else you want to see. And if you are joining me on this January 3rd, know that class packs are open for the virtual studio. So we're doing all of a core focus. So a lot of stuff that we did today, you'll see throughout the next month. In addition to some fun, more prop play. So we'll play with using Cordras balls under our spine and our sacrum, and some other kind of fine twists on some abdominal work that we do all the time. Okay, that's all I got for you. Enjoy your day.